At 35,000 feet, passengers are relaxed. Everything appears normal. No warning lights. No system failures. Then suddenly, the pilot stops responding. It might begin with a missed call, a delayed reaction, or a subtle deviation that doesn't quite make sense. And then the realization sets in, the threat isn't the aircraft. It's inside the cockpit. Pilot incapacitation is one of the most dangerous and least visible risks in aviation. And when it goes unrecognized, the margin between control and catastrophe can disappear in minutes. In this video, we will analyze pilot incapacitation, its causes, real accidents, warning signs, and pilot response. Pilot incapacitation is defined as the inability of a crew member to perform his duties in flight, either due to physical, pathological or psychological causes. This can be total incapacitation, like loss of consciousness, or partial, where the pilot is still conscious, but his performance is impaired. From an operational standpoint, partial incapacitation is often more dangerous of the two, because it can go unnoticed. The causes of incapacitation are broader than many may expect. However, the most common contributors include gastrointestinal illness, often from food poisoning; hypoxia, due to pressurization issues; smoke, or toxic fumes in the cockpit; cardiovascular events, like heart attacks, or strokes; neurological events, such as seizures; fatigue, or even unintended sleep; and external factors like injury, bird strikes, or hostile acts. Interestingly, while sudden death gets the most attention, gastrointestinal illness is actually the most frequent cause of incapacitation. This highlights an important operational reality, that the threat is not always dramatic, it's often routine, and preventable. One of the widely cited cases of incapacitation is Helios Airways Flight 522. In this case, a simple pressurization misconfiguration led to crew hypoxia. The pilots gradually became incapacitated, without recognizing the situation. The aircraft continued on autopilot, until fuel exhaustion. This wasn't a sudden collapse, it was a progressive loss of cognitive function, which is exactly what makes hypoxia so dangerous. Recognition of incapacitation by the aircrew is where accidents are either prevented or allowed to develop. Most common warning signs of incapacitation include missed radio calls, confusion or inappropriate responses, deviation from SOPs, and lack of situational awareness. A practical rule is that, if a pilot does not respond to repeated calls, or behaves inconsistently, incapacitation must be considered immediately. A recent real-world example in this regard is of Lufthansa Airbus A321 first officer incapacitation. The first officer became incapacitated while alone on the flight deck. The captain was temporarily locked out, and had to regain access using emergency procedures. However, the aircraft remained stable, but the situation had clear potential to escalate. In multi-crew operations, incapacitation shifts the entire workload to one pilot. Even with automation, this creates task saturation, reduced redundancy and increased decision-making pressure. A well-known example in this regard is of EgyptAir Flight 804. While primarily an onboard fire event, evidence suggested that smoke and fumes rapidly affected crew performance. Consequently, communication became degraded, and control inputs became erratic. This highlights an important overlap: the cause of incapacitation is not always medical, it can be environmental, as well. Once incapacitation is suspected, flight crew response must be decisive. The active crew member must take control of the aircraft, engage autopilot to stabilize workload, Physically ensure the incapacitated pilot cannot interfere. Call cabin crew for assistance. Inform ATC, declare PAN or Mayday. And lastly, plan landing at the nearest suitable airport. A key principle in this regard is that a partially incapacitated pilot must not continue to assist, because impaired judgment can be more dangerous than no input at all. A classic CRM case in this regard is of United Airlines Flight 173. Although this was not a case of medical incapacitation, where the captain became so cognitively fixated or obsessed on a landing gear issue that situational awareness of all crew members was lost. Consequently, the crew failed to monitor fuel state, leading to engine flameout. This case is often cited in human factors training as functional incapacitation, where the pilot is physically capable but mentally impaired. We know that prevention is better than cure, therefore, prevention must be built into everyday operations, which should include separate crew meals, strict medical standards, oxygen use when required, fatigue risk management, and encouraging pilots to declare themselves unfit, because one of the biggest risks is continuing to operate while impaired. To conclude, we can say that pilot incapacitation rarely starts as a dramatic event. Rather, it often begins insidiously, with a missed call, a delayed response, or a small deviation. Therefore, difference between a safe outcome and an accident is usually early recognition, assertive intervention, and strict adherence to SOPs. Remember, in the cockpit, the most dangerous failure is the one you don't immediately recognize. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more safety videos.